Hi everyone, happy Sunday. Today I'll be demonstrating some core exercises on the GHG. The GHG, or the Glute Ham Developer, is one of the most ideal pieces of equipment a gym could have, in my opinion, in order to support individuals' local and global stabilization systems. I'll discuss two different types of exercise progressions. The first main exercise is focused on the posterior oblique subsystem and deep longitudinal subsystem, and is known as the GHG hip extension. The second main exercise is focused on the global anterior oblique subsystem and is known as the GHG sit-up. There are also options on GHG to complete lateral subsystem exercises, but I will not be discussing these today. So first demonstrated, the stabilization level exercise for the posterior chain is the Sorensen hold, which will directly address the local stabilization system with isometric spinal support as its focus. So you can see neutral spine, hips are off the pad. So next one, the strength level exercise for the posterior chain, is the back and hip extension. This includes the global stabilization system along with a local one, as the hip gets involved at the end of the motion right there. You can progress with core exercise by giving the athlete a weight to hold while they're doing the movement as well. So next is the power level exercise, and that's the hip extension alone. So this exercise takes the focus to the global stabilization system, and when you add an explosive tempo onto the movement, which I didn't quite demonstrate, or complete it with speed as it's typically done, then it allows the posterior chain to be worked more powerfully. So next, second set of exercises is going to be focusing on the anterior chain. So first, the stabilization level exercise for the anterior chain is a supine hold, which will directly address local stabilization system with isometric spinal support as its focus. A strength level exercise for the anterior chain is a sit-up to parallel. This is a safe movement to add weight as the spine stays in a slight flexion, only goes to neutral stacking. The hip flexor also gets involved in this movement as you aggressively snap forward to finish this sit-up from a bit of extension. And there I'm going into the last exercise, which is the power level, and that's the full GHT sit-up. So this is a much more dynamic and powerful movement as the full range of motion of the spine and hip, even entering hyperextended ranges, is seen. So to sum up, it's important to appropriately progress an athlete's core training program, as then the athlete can allow the local stabilization system to lay a solid foundation for the global stabilization system that follows. If any steps are missing in a core program progression, then an athlete will end up with a weakness in their movement system. Any weaknesses will show up as neuromuscular dysfunction and eventually will lead to injury and the cumulative injury cycle.